Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we got a very quick lesson, and this lesson is going to be how to hit a flop shot. Personally, I'm gonna show you how I play a flop shot, I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks, and I'm gonna show you how amateurs play, flop shots when they're not as consistent. So we're gonna go through first problems, and then I'm gonna show you how I flop it and some tips and tricks. So it's gonna be a very simple lesson. Let's go. So right here, the grass, it's a little bit thicker. So normally, if you miss a green, you're not gonna be in a fairway, so you're gonna be like in a sim rough or something. So this is where you need to hit a flop shot. Now, first, let's go to some problems. How amateurs love to play flop shots. So we have to understand one thing. When we play flop shot, we don't need to open the club face so much, right? We don't need to stand like this, open the club face, or you see those freaking flop shots. No, you just have to have a very, very stable base so you can actually hit a consistent shot. Now, with most amateurs, the big problem is they stand very narrow. When you stand very narrow, then your pad is gonna be very steep, okay? And when you open the club face, you stand narrow, well, it's gonna be pointing right. So what happens a lot of times when amateurs try to chip, right, they use lots of wrist, and as I said, they top the ball, right? So you saw that from the back camera. And this is a very, very big problem. And the second big problem is a lot of kind of amateurs love to chip a lot with the wrist. So when they chip a lot with the wrist, what happens? You use lots of wrist, you stand very, very narrow, which means your pad is going to be very much narrow to the ground. And when when your club is very much like steep to the ground, well, you're most likely gonna use your wrist, and it's just gonna go everywhere. So just like this, watch. You stand narrow, stand very steep, and then from there, you do this, right? This is not how we do a flop shot. Let me show you how to actually do a proper flop shot. So from here, personally, what I like to do, I like to always open my club face a little bit, because when you open your club face, your boston is going to be standing a little bit more like this, and this is where we can actually cut the grass, all right? And we're not going to be using any wrist, little to none wrist movement, okay? So first, we're going to open the club face. We're gonna stand a little bit wider. Now, why do we stand wider? We stand wider so we can position our body a little bit more to the ground, because when we open the club face, right? We open the club face, we want to stand a little bit more down so that the club face goes a little bit more down. You're gonna watch from the back. From here, I stand wide, I open my club face, and I'm already to the ground. Now, all I have to do from here is just turn my whole body, right? I'm properly positioned, and then from here, boom, you see? Because we're already primed for a flop shot, we don't need to use any wrist movement or any unnecessary movements. All we have to do is just stand normally, like I said, a little bit more down to the ground, a little bit wider. You open the club face. When you open the club face is going to be aiming right, so your feet position should be a little bit more to the left. You do this, and then from here, you just turn with your body, right? That's pretty much the most simplest way I can explain this. Now, let me give you a few more tips, okay? So this is kind of simple shot, and like pretty much the biggest things that you have to know when you do a flop shot. But let me give you some tips now. They're gonna help you develop this. So the first tip is you need to have a smooth swing, right? You don't want to rush to the back and rush forward. You have your body to do everything in sync. So from here, tip number one, you have to loosen your body, okay? You see this? I'm very loosened, and then from here, I'm just gonna go very slowly backwards. Bam, bam, right? It's kind of like a tempo down, right? You don't want to be fast, because when you're fast, what happens? Well, you know what happens. If you're too fast, you get over the top, you don't sync your body up, you top the ball, you chunk the ball, everything, right? So this is tip number one. Tip number two, when you do a flop shot, as I said before, you don't cock your wrists, okay? So from here, all you want to do is you want to stand normally, as we said, a little bit more down, open the club face. Now from here, I want you to feel this triangle here, okay? And this triangle right here, right? We don't have our elbows pointed upwards. We have them normally pointed down, and it just feels like this is a little bit more restricted. And then from here, when we turn to the back, we don't want to cock our wrist left, up, right, down, okay? From here, because we already positioned very nicely, all we have to do is turn with this triangle. We turn, and then from there, we turn back to the club, and we move forward, okay? So it's just gonna look like this. A little flop shot, right? So we do a triangle, and then from here, straight back, straight forward. Okay? Tip number 2. Now let me give you tip number 3, and this is going to be the last tip. Tip number 3, when we go through the follow through, okay, sometimes if you want to hit a higher flop shot, you have to cock the wrist a little bit. But how do we cock the wrist? Because this is really important. If you're going to cock the wrist wrongly, your club is going to go like this. Watch from behind camera, right? If I'm here, and if I do cock my wrist that way, so a lot of coaches say you have to go down like this, right? You have to go down like this. And then from here, like, your club is gonna be open for something, right? I just don't understand why this works. So when you go here, you go down right here. When you go through the follow through, watch where my club head is aiming. It's aiming so far left. We want our club head to be aiming where we want to play, okay? Towards the flag, in principle, right? Of course, it's gonna be a little bit more to the left. But from here, when you cock the wrist, you want to cock them upwards and to yourself, okay? Watch. You don't want to cock your wrist left like this and into the ground and like this, okay? You want to cock and use your wrist a little bit more naturally, more towards you. Because what happens if I miss the ball and the club is like this? Well, it's gonna go straight. It's just gonna be short or long, right? So you've already pretty much, you know, disassembled few of the shots left and right. So from here, what we said, open the club face, we stand wider, we go a little bit more down, we move a little bit to the left because the club face is open. Then from there we do a triangle. Now we just cock the wrist normally. Okay, watch. Bam, this one's gonna go in. Almost. Let me hit another one for you. I'm gonna give you a few slow motion videos so you can see how this all works. Okay, from here we stand a little bit more down, we extend our arms, and then we move with our body. Okay, it's pretty simple, right? Let me hit you another one just for you to get the feel of how, you know, I play and how this actually works. Okay, watch. Boom. Let's do another one. Boom. Right? You see how I cocked my wrist towards me, not left. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't checked out the brainwash video on the proper weight transfer, check this video out and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.